Hi class. Last week we have learned to create animation by using keyframe and tween. But today, same thing, we will still learn to create animations, but this time we will be using frame to frame technique. Today I plan to teach you all about very simple animation, which is the bouncing ball animation by using frame to frame techniques. Alright, before before starting the animations, we'll need to pick on the line tool to create a platform first. Okay? Next, I will convert this line tool to become a symbol, and I rename it as the symbol as ground. Same thing, I'll rename the layer as well, ground. Okay. Now I plan to do the animations, 2 seconds animations. So we'll need this line to appear within that 2 seconds as well. In order to do so, we will need to insert frame at 2 seconds at the 60th frame. Okay, you just right click and then insert frame. Once you have inserted the frames, right, the platform will actually appear when the indicator moves along at different time frame. It won't disappear. Next, we'll be going to create bouncing ball animations by using the frame to frame technique. Okay, you'll need to add a new layer first, and I rename it as ball. Now you will see that the keyframe is actually empty here, meaning there has no object or animation due to this keyframe yet. So we click on it, and then now I'll select the over tool. Then I'll highlight it and convert it to symbol. Alright, now it becomes a symbol. Okay, then I go to the second frame and add a new keyframe. Actually, that is a shortcut key for adding the keyframe, which is F6. You just press on F6, then a new keyframe will be given. Alright, at the new keyframe, right, I actually start to move the ball from top to bottom, because now we're going to create a bouncing ball effect from using keyframe to frame technique. So what you need to do is just continue adding keyframe and then moving the ball. Alright? Okay. At the third keyframe, I'll move a little bit more downward. Alright. In order to look back the previous animation track, right, you can actually go to the top column to find onion skin. Okay, then you just click on it, then you will see the track that you have did to previous keyframe. Due to the 12 principles of animations, we will need to create squash and stretch effects when the ball is going to hit on the ground here. In order to do so, at the fourth keyframe, I will use brush tool to actually draw the stretch ball. And of course, Wacom is recommended to use to draw in Adobe Animate. Then next thing, I will convert it to symbol because we might want to use it later. Then I rename it as stretch ball in symbol. Okay, so when come to the 5th keyframe, right, it will actually reach the stretch ball will actually reach to the ground. So I will use the brush tool to make the squash and stretch shape as well. Same thing, I add keyframe, and then by using this brush tool to draw the squash shape. Okay, all right. As you see here, but now you go back to your 4th keyframe, right? You will see there is actually 2 shapes appear. So what you need to do is you need to delete the first one, the first circle. Alright, you just delete it. So meaning at the 4th keyframe only one object appear. Same to the 5th keyframe. What you need to do is you have to delete 2 objects that appear, which I forget to do just now, and you can actually redo back. Okay, now you will have stretch effect like this. So if you think that the object if you think the position is not correct, you can actually readjust like this. Alright, and yeah, maybe you can check back by using the onion skin in order to see the front, the first one to the last one. You can just drag the column here. Now you will see this is the track from the 1st keyframe to the 5th keyframe. So same thing, at the 5th keyframe, I will now convert the flat shape to symbol. Stretch. Ball 1. Okay. And I want to actually move its shape to a little closer. Alright, and yeah, after this you just continue the cycle. Right, when it bounces back, it will give you the shape like this. So what you need to do is you go back to the 4th keyframe, you copy this shape and paste at the 6th keyframe. Right, okay, at the 6th keyframe, makes it nearer, and then you can go to the free transform tool. You just alter the directions. Of course, you can right click and find transform and flip horizontal. Then you alter a little bit. So when it bounces back, right? Yeah, you just reverse. Next, what you need to do is at the 6th keyframe, you will notice that is also the 2 objects appearing. Same thing. At this keyframe, right? We will just want this to appear at the scene. So we will delete the previous one. Alright, and then by dragging the onion skin column to the front, we will notice that after this stretch ball, right, the next bouncing shape that we want is this 3 circle, but it's in reverse fashion, it's in reverse format. So in order to have this 3 circle, right, you don't need to redraw, but what you need is just to select these 3 keyframe, the first 3 keyframe, and then right click, you copy it, and then you go to the new frames here and right click, then you can paste it. Alright, then you have to reselect again this newly added keyframes. And what you need to do is you need to reverse the frames. Okay, once you reverse the frames, right, you will see this is actually last 2 keyframes shown at the end of the frames. Alright, so what you need to do is you need to select these 2 keyframes and drag it to join back to the last keyframes. Alright, and now you can check whether the circle that you want is correct or not. Alright, after this, you need to move the positions to you need to move the circle to the correct positions. Alright, then you click on this new keyframe, then you just move the circle from left to right. Same thing, go to the last second keyframe. Okay, same thing, you just move it. Alright, and then you can drag the onion column to the most front. Then you can play and see. Once you have done, I will consider this as the first cycles of bouncing ball. So in order to have the second cycle, second wave of bouncing, we will not need to redraw or redo again. What we need to do is just copy the keyframes from the beginning to the end here. Copy and then paste it at the new frame. Paste it. Okay. And then now what you need to do is you just repositions each of the cycle and each of the shape here. Okay. So I think for the first one, right, we will not need it because it is already here. So we can start from the second one. So I will drag and reposition it here from left to right. Then I'll go to the next keyframe, same thing. For the second wave of bouncing, right, I will just for the second bouncing, I will think that the ball will only go up to this level. Because according to the bouncing ball principle, right, it will stop gradually after a few cycles of bouncing. Okay, so the next thing you will need to do is you need to delete the copied keyframe and shapes which is not using in the second cycles of bouncing ball. Alright, for example, this keyframe, it has been copied, but the shape is not used in the second wave, so we'll just delete it. And then same to this one. Alright, and then what you need to do the next is you need to move the second wave of keyframes to forward to replace the empty space. Okay. Next, you can play once to see the effect, to see the animation. Alright. If you notice that the speed is too fast, you can actually add a few frames in between of the keyframes. In order to add frames, right, you can press on F5 on your keyboard. Okay, like me, I will press twice F5 on each keyframe. So you will give 2 spaces in between of each keyframes. Okay, now you drag your indicator to the beginning part and you try to play one more time. Now that it become slower. After this, you can continue doing third waves of bouncing ball. You can try and see. Alright, so instead of using frame to frame techniques on bouncing ball, of course, you can use this technique on the other objects and animations like human movement, the growth of trees, and many things that includes movements. Alright, yeah. So that's all for today, and hope that you will enjoy this session. Thank you.